gravity here. I mean, you make one wrong move and this truck is
This
liable
police
to
chase
flip
is
over like we
crazy.
saw that last suspect that we left in Woodland Hills last hour. So a very, very dangerous one here, and not just a high center of gravity. I mean, he's driving it like it's a Ferrari, but this is a lot more like a tank than a Ferrari here. 115 miles an hour, totally ridiculous. It
Wow,
wasn't LAPD
115
pursuit, but
miles,
it's
that's
now
crazy.
CHP that has taken over on this one. An allegedly stolen truck, a very nice, expensive one here, a high-end Ford Raptor truck that is lifted and flying along southbound on the 605. Juan, Susie, and Mike.
And it's incredible to know, once again, you're talking the 170 and the 5 now in Whittier, covering an
115
incredible
miles an hour,
amount
116,
of ground here
117.
at very high speeds. We have our Mike Rogers on the desk,
It's a
also
nice
monitoring
truck,
the
though.
situation
A
here.
Ford.
Mike, this is extra dangerous just with the type of truck that we're dealing with.
Yeah, extra dangerous, as Desmond mentioned, the high center of gravity. We
He's
know
doing
that it's lifted. We know
115
that
miles,
it's going
110 miles an hour at
That is
LA.
what
It's
has taken
stolen
us, in
truck.
addition to the marine layer, but that is what has taken us so long to get overhead of this, is once we cleared that marine layer, then we were just having trouble keeping up with this guy. I mean, he's really hauling. We're in a construction zone now, it appears. The light is still coming from the LAPD helicopter overhead.
Oh, yeah, those lanes are starting to narrow.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to hit some
Whoa, into the
over a
construction
cone.
zone. Oh, my God.
Zone now.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Yeah, they're probably going to have to back off this pursuit while he's in the construction zone at this point. They probably would have anyway. I mean, we've got the cone pattern set up. I don't know where the Caltrans workers are out here, but this is just insanely frightening watching this person now inside of the construction zone. So their helicopter's going to stay overhead on this one while they can, and then we'll see if they re-engage the ground units when they get back out of this. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my gosh. Right, it just nearly wiped out that stationary truck right there while he was going 60 miles an hour. And this is a huge vehicle that could do a lot of damage. He's getting off the freeway now at Washington Boulevard. Let's see where they go right now. I'm just happy he's out of that work zone at least, but that must have been just terrifying for those highway workers that were out there. As we're now off of, it looks like Slauson Avenue now in the Whittier area.
That's an idiot.
An incredibly close call there. I have to imagine that the suspect is shaken by that close call as well.
We talk about cone zones here in Southern California. We see them so often, especially late at night on our freeways. But can you imagine working on the freeway right now, having that much distance away from the traffic, and then having a car plow into that and coming straight for you?
And you have no idea what it is, right?
Exactly.
There's sometimes officers there that provide security for the folks that are working there in the cone zone. And you have this truck, which could be a workman's truck or somebody's truck. We're replaying that shot there just a few seconds ago on the right side of your screen. So dangerous, going at high rates of speed, as we've been mentioning, triple digits here, just plowing through traffic. Here's where it's the lanes start to narrow. You can see the cones right there. He crosses over and again starts picking up speed. Just incredible.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, picking up speed and then continues to speed into that area where he's not supposed to be, where the traffic is being kept away with the cones, but he decides to go into that area. Let's go back upstairs to Desmond Shaw, live in SkyCal. He's still going really fast, Desmond. Have you heard any talk about officers possibly pulling off?
Yeah, it sounds like at least for the time being, they have the ground units pulled off, and they're just tracking this from the helicopter. It is just so insanely dangerous with the suspect. Wrong side of the road right now.
Whoa.
Fortunately, you know, very light traffic right now. I mean, we are on Rosemead. This is normally an extremely busy street, but now the 10 o'clock hour, not too bad. But look through this red light. Let's see what they're going to do right here. So still, you know, on the kind of in the Pico Rivera area right now. Continuing northbound on Rosemead. I mean, you really hate to see a suspect, you know, getting away after that kind of insane driving. But at least for now, the authorities backing off on the ground. They're attempting to track this from the helicopter. But, you know, look, there's no one behind the suspect, and they just continue to drive, you know, crazy 80, 90 miles an hour here on these surface streets. So far, anyway, you know, backing off is not getting the suspect to cool his jets.
Yeah, thank goodness no one was hurt here. He's hitting some heavier traffic here, a red light, but, you know, that's not going to stop him. He's going to go and blow right through that. Mike, any word on the desk there, whether there's just one person in this truck? What do we know?
So, yeah, we know that they don't. know, Juan. So basically, we were listening earlier. CHP had asked before they took it over, what do we know about the driver? Do they know anything about the suspect? Because sometimes cars are stolen and it's a known suspect, and sometimes it's totally random. Gosh, these speeds are so fast.
Oh, he almost crashed.
And that's the thing. Look, this is such a high-profile truck. He's not going to be able to take those turns like that. He almost lost control there. But to answer your question, Juan, no, they don't know anything about the driver. CHP had specifically asked that. Because they wanted to know if this was something that they could catch up with the guy later or what they know about the driver. And LAPD said, we know nothing about the driver or the suspect here. So we don't know how many people are in the car. It doesn't. We've not heard any definitive number more than one. But we also know that the law enforcement does not know anything about the person behind the wheel.
So ground units are definitely laying low for the time being. Is that right?
Absolutely, especially since we are not on the freeway. CHP. This is a big risk. This is when we talk risk versus reward and why law enforcement chases and when they decide to give it up. This is one of those scenarios. Yes, this is a stolen vehicle. Yes, this person is running from law enforcement, but he's running from law enforcement at such a great speed and great risk to the public. The CHP, especially in that construction zone, has decided to back off a little bit and let the helicopter track it from the air.
Yeah, I mean, they can do only so much when this person is going this fast, Mike. And we talk about stopping methods. We talk about maybe spike strips, but they'd have to be set up way ahead of time and know where this person is going to be able to set that up.
Right.
We talk about the high center of gravity of this truck. So therefore, doing a pit maneuver would be really dangerous. This truck could flip over if they do that. So, not a lot of options left for law enforcement when they think about, like Mike was saying, really balancing the safety versus reward here, to stop this person, but also with the, safety of the public in mind. But as this person is just speeding through these neighborhoods still with no one behind this person except for the helicopter who's above, that's above. Of chasing this person. But Mike, is this an actual tracking by the CHP then? What's happening?
Well, so yeah, I mean, technically, yes, you've got the LAPD helicopter that's been overhead tracking it. We're still listening to them. We're still listening to them call it out on the CHP frequency.
Okay.
So I'm just listening to some of the radio traffic now. So yeah, they're still aware of it. The problem is, we're all right, over the median.
Over the center divider.
Oh my goodness.
And back northbound. Yeah, I mean, this truck is definitely capable of that. It's, not too big of a deal for this big lifted truck. They definitely specialize in, off-road kind of situations. But so for whatever reason, decided to turn back around Rosemead now here northbound. We're going to be kind of in the Whittier Narrows area right now. We're not too far away from that. It's, extremely dark out here. We've definitely seen some suspects get out and bail from the vehicle, thinking that they can elude the helicopter with the darkness and some of the foliage here in the Whittier Narrows area. Let's see if that's what the suspect is thinking. I mean, we're so far away from where this first began. It just seems pretty aimless at this point, but speeds still consistently very high here.
Guys,
I just wonder, where this person is going, right? We often see these people go to familiar neighborhoods where they're more comfortable driving, especially at speeds like this, in a familiar area, they might be able to maneuver a little bit better, but we don't know if this person knows this area, and that's why they're here, or perhaps they're just trying to get away as fast as they can, wherever they can.
And you can see how different the situation is here. The road, Susie, a little darker, right? We don't see a well-lit road here. It's a little more desolate here, not a lot of traffic. So dangerous, especially if someone who is going at very high rates of speed. I mean, is this still pretty accurate, Mike, when you're looking at the speedometer there from SkyCal? I mean,
like
kind of bouncing around, but still, that truck is still going really fast.
It is still going really fast. We're offset a little bit from where the car is, and so that always throws our speedometer off. But, I can tell when I'm looking at the police helicopter that is still overhead, they are at, still about those speeds. So, we may be dealing with some airspace issues that Desmond's working on right now. But, I mean, we are still going very, very quick right now as this kind of pushes through. And we talked about the pit maneuvers and the potential of, like, would they do a pit maneuver on this? It's dangerous. Yes, it's dangerous. But also, we saw, this is several years ago, but if you remember, DJ Marshmallow had his truck stolen. It was much bigger than this. It was a much more lifted truck. But I remember a little Crown Victoria from the Sheriff's Department tried and just basically bounced off the tires. It really didn't even have much of an effect. So I don't know that would be the case in this scenario, because this truck certainly is not nearly as large as the other one was. But
the lights are out now.
It's blacked out, Des, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Desmond's noticing the lights are off.
Yeah, the lights are. Yeah, the lights are out, and and it's a black truck, and it's going really fast here. We're just having some issues here because we're kind of compressed with the clouds, and so now we have to kind of give a little bit of horizontal room to the law enforcement ships here that are trying to follow this. They're down pretty low as they make it looks like an eastbound turn here onto Garvey. So that's why our shot was getting a little farther away. We're going to see if we can try to catch back up here if the weather will improve.
Hit that like and subscribe button.
So out on Garvey Avenue here, another kind of major street. We're through the Whittier Narrows area and kind of in the vicinity of Montebello, I believe. But yeah, I mean, now we've got the lights out as well. In addition to all this, I mean, the speeds, let's see if we can get the speedometer back. It looks like, well, yeah, the speeds of, I mean, look at this. He's going right through a red light with no lights on in a black truck. I mean, just so terrifying for people out here, even though the speeds have slowed down a little bit, but still, way too fast for surface street.
And that makes me wonder if he, finally realized that there's no one behind him. The units on the ground have not been with this person for a very long time. We picked it up. We first heard about it just at the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. And, by the time we got to it, they were already, like we were talking about in the San Gabriel Valley, this started in the San Fernando Valley. And they've been driving so fast, it was hard for us to even get to it.
Yeah.
They just continue to drive like this, lights off. You can see their brake lights ever so often, but they have been driving so recklessly, even on the surface streets, Juan.
Yeah, it's incredible. We only get a chance to see him when he does tap his brakes, and you can see where he's going. Still, the lights are off at this time. And I'm guessing, Mike, he's thinking perhaps this would deter law enforcement from above. Maybe they might not see him, just like we're having a tough time seeing him.
Yeah, look, I mean, he's in a black truck. It's nighttime, and if he turns his lights off, maybe he thinks that's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to spot him as we just continue to fly down these streets, which brings up, we're getting a lot of text to the desk on this one. I want to show you something that a viewer commented on that they just texted us. This is Dustin, who actually is watching us from Wichita, Kansas. So CHP needs to get back on. This guy is clearly not slowing down. They need to put an end to this before he kills someone. And that is the risk versus reward that law enforcement has to decide on every single time we have one of these chases. And at this point, CHP believed it was more dangerous for them to chase him, especially going through the construction zone there, than it was to just kind of let him be. But, to his point, clearly that isn't working either. This guy is still driving the way he's driving, but CHP has decided that that's not the risk they want to take. They don't want to agitate him even more, especially when, for now, they can follow him from the desk. There's a number on the screen, 818-221-2222. If you've got questions or comments on this chase, we're happy to try to answer them to the best that we can as we continue to watch this guy. And again, we're dealing with some cloud issues here as well. So that's why our shot's a little further off. But look, it is dark down there. You've got some street lights, you guys, but he's blacked out, and cars coming up from behind him probably aren't even seeing him until it's right there.
And you kind of wonder, Mike, since this started right around the 5 and the 170, now he's here all the way in the San Gabriel Valley, quite a distance away. Like, where was his truck stolen from? When did it first ping? Is coming back stolen? And yet again, like, just the incredible amount of distance this driver has covered in a short amount of time. But seeing that he's going so fast, it's not a surprise that he's covering so much ground.
It's not at all. Thanks, Cal, for bringing my mic back up. I'm actually going to give it back to you guys for just a second. I want to call